We're going to find the slope using 2 points. And we're going to use this formula, which is the formula for the slope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by labeling the first point. So this is the first point. So let me start by labeling this. And this is the second point. By the way, it doesn't matter which one you pick to be the first point or which one would be the second point. At the end, you're going to get the same answer. So to get the slope, I'm going to start by doing the substitution into that equation. That will be y sub 2. That will be 12. According to the formula is minus, then y sub 1. But you multiply the signs, positive times this negative, you're going to get negative 6. All of that is going to be divided by x of 2, which is going to be 6. According to the formula, it's going to be minus, but multiply the signs. Positive times this negative, that would be negative 2. Now to get the answer, they have different sign, subtract, that's how you get 6. Keep the sign of the biggest number. The biggest number is positive, so the answer should be positive 6. One more time. Now they have different sign, subtract, keep the sign of the biggest number. That's how you get positive 4. And then the next step, we're just gonna reduce. Can you see that number 2 goes into both of them? So that means that I can divide by 2. That's how you get 3. Divided by 2, you get 2. So now, this is one way how you gonna get the answer. A shortcut without doing this formula, I'm gonna just rewrite the two numbers, or the 2 points, I mean. So that's 1 point. This will be another point, the other point, I mean. And now the shortcut works this way. The rate of change, can you see that it should be plus 6? The rate of change here is going to be plus 4. Okay, so then the slope should be 6 over 4. And you can see we get the same answer. Of course, when you reduce, you're going to get the same thing, right? 3 over 2 because you divide them by 2. Okay, so that's how we're going to get one answer, right? Let's do the next one. Okay, for the next one, we're going to do exactly the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first start by labeling this point. Okay, and then the second point. Once I finish, I'm going to do the substitution into this equation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by writing m. M is the slope. That should be equal. Then according to the formula, it's going to be y sub 2. Oh, y sub 2 in this case, as you can see, is going to be 3. So that would be 3 minus y sub 1. Multiply the signs, positive times this negative. You're going to get negative 6. Then all of this is going to be divided by x of 2. That would be 15. Then minus x of 1, positive times this negative. You're going to get negative 9. And now, can you see that they have different sign? Subtract and keep the sign of the biggest number. The biggest number is negative, so the answer should be negative 3. And now they have different sign. Subtract, keep the sign of the biggest number. The biggest number is positive, so the answer should be positive 6. The next step, whenever you can reduce or divide, then that's what you should do. Just reduce on this case. Can you see that number 3 goes into both of them? So that means that I can divide this by 3. I'm going to get 1. 6 divided by 3, I'm going to get 2. You divide negative by a positive, the answer should be negative 1/2. Okay? Now, that's the long way. The shortcut is just rewriting these 2 points, and we're gonna get the rate of change. So that would be the first point, that would be the second point, and the rate of change, can you see that it should be -3? The rate of change here is gonna be +6. So in this case, the slope should be -3 divided by 6. And we get the same answer. Of course, when you divide, okay, by 3, you're gonna get 1 divided by 3, you get 2. And then negative divided by a positive, the answer should be negative. And we get the same answer. That's what should happen if you do, by the way, the both methods. You can see you should get the same answer. Okay, you can just pick one. I like to pick this one, the shortcut, because it's the easiest for you to get the answers without using the long way. All right, so let's do the next one. Okay, for the next one, let me label the point. So this would be the first point. That would be the second point. And we're gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna write the slope. That's the name of this variable, the slope. And it's gonna be y sub 2. That would be -2. Then minus positive times this negative. You're gonna get -5. All of this is gonna be divided by x of 2, which is gonna be 4. Then minus, that is the formula, right? Minus. But multiply the signs. Positive times a negative, you're gonna get -9. Now, can you see that these two have the same sign? Whenever they have the same sign, add it up and keep the sign. That's how you get -7 divided by, and here we have different sign, subtract, keep the sign of the biggest number. That's how you're gonna get -5. Now you are not able to divide or reduce, but on this case, can you see that both numbers are negative? Well, divide the signs. Negative divided by a negative turns into positive. Okay. And now let's do the shortcut. Let me write it here, but let me write it with another color. So if I do the shortcut, then it's gonna look like this. I'm gonna write 9 and 5, okay, and then 4, -2, okay. The rate of change here is gonna be -7, and the rate of change right here is gonna be -5, right? So then the slope should be -7 divided by -5. Negative divided by a negative, all of this turns into positive. And clearly you get the same answer. All right. So this is 5. Let me rewrite it. It doesn't look like 5. Mm, Now the last one is gonna be this one. So one more time, we need to get the slope. So let me label this. So that would be my first point. This would be the second point. Okay. And to get the slope, we want to do the substitution into this equation. So this one is y sub 2, that would be -3. Then the formula is minus, then y sub 1, but you multiply the signs. Negative times this negative turns into +4. And all of this is going to be divided by x of 2, which is going to be 5, minus x of 1. But one more time, you multiply the signs, negative times this negative turns into positive 2. And now to get the answer, all what we do is look at the signs. They have different signs. Subtract. Keep the sign of the biggest number. That's how you get positive 1. And 5 plus 2 is going to be 7. And for the shortcut, so I'm going to rewrite the 2 points. Okay, either way, whichever way you want to do it. I like the shortcut because I don't have to use that equation. So it's a lot faster too. So that would be 1 point. That would be the second point. And now we're gonna get the rate of change. Can you see that the rate of change on this case, we is gonna be at, oh, this is 3, 4, okay, yeah. The rate of change on this case, we is gonna be adding 1 to get -3. On the other side, can you see that we gonna be adding 7, right? So then the slope should be 1 over 7. Straightforward. Okay. And these are two ways how you can get the slope. Uh, Whenever they give you 2 points, you can either use the long way or you can use the shortcut. I like to use the shortcut.